Quoting Bill Bernbach, the most powerful element in advertising is the truth.
While Seth Godin said, people do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic.
Welcome everyone. Today we are stepping into a world where ideas turn into brands and brands turn into icons. Because in advertising,
दाग अच्छे हैं. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a great ad, that's worth 1,000,000 impressions. So let's get ready to taste the thunder.
We believe that every great idea starts with a spark. And once you catch it,
इसको लगा डाला तो life झिंगा डाला. That's right. So let's get ready to explore, innovate, and create ads that aren't just good, but टेढ़ा है पर मेरा है.
So, if you think ads are just about selling products, think again. They sell dreams, emotions, and sometimes things we didn't even know we needed.
Advertising is basically storytelling but with a deadline. So let's get those creative brains running before the client asks one more revision.
The Department of Journalism and Mass Communication is excited to welcome you all to a comprehensive and valuable workshop on ethical advertising.
Before we give a brief introduction of our esteemed guest, let's take a moment to acknowledge the pillars of the event.
We express our deepest gratitude to Dr. Rajni Malhotra Dhingra, Director, NAMES, and Dr. Umesh Chandra Pathak, Head, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, for their unwavering support and guidance.
We thank the conveners of the workshop, Ms. Neelam Nanda Prabhat and Dr. Nisha Singh, for their thorough support and execution.
Creativity into impact.
Our guest today knows the secret sauce of advertising. Part creativity, part strategy, and a lot of why didn't I think of that?
Let us all heartily welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Aditi Hingu, with a huge round of applause. She has an experience of more than a decade in corporate world. She has worked with leading organizations like Hindustan Unilever Limited, Kellogg's, Mondelez, and Monsanto. She's a master trainer for ASCI Academy. Thank you everyone. Ma'am, the podium is yours.
Thank you so much. Good to go, please start. And thank you for that very kind introduction. Thank you for taking out time. Thank you, Professor Neelam, for organizing this. Over the next, we have 1.5 hours. Over the next 1.5 hours, I'll be taking you through some of my thoughts on advertising, and especially why does advertising need to be ethical. Now, in advertising and in brand management, we have a term saying जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So the first job to actually sell any brand, any service, any product is you have to create awareness. So you have to make sure कि वो दिखता है. But the way you create that awareness, what you are promising your consumer is equally important, because nowhere in the field of creating strong brands should we ever resort to something which is unethical, because it harms the brand in the long run. So I will speak on that. Any point in time, if you have a different view, feel free to stop me, ask questions so that we'll make it interactive. Okay, good to go? Okay, so what is advertising? Don't read from here, in your own words. What is advertising?
Branding of any product.
Branding of any product, perfect. Anything else? Promoting anything. Anything else?
Awareness about something.
Creating awareness.
Way to communicate with the target audience in order to persuade them to buy something.
Perfect. It's a way to communicate.
Showing creativity.
It is showing creativity. Anything else?
It is a medium of creating space for the brand.
It's to create space for the brand. All of this is right. What is advertising? It is nothing but, somebody mentioned in the introduction, it's a form of storytelling where you are telling a story about your brand to your target audience, telling them why your brand is important, how your brand will help your target audience achieve whatever they want to achieve. Selling this as safe drinking water which will quench your thirst. So there is a difference in the way you tell about the product. One thing that advertising does is it is an impersonal form of communication. Are you all aware of personal and impersonal forms of communication? Yes? So what are personal forms of communication? Us talking. One-to-one conversation. Me sending a WhatsApp to professor. She replying on WhatsApp. When you are doing one-to-one communication, it's a personal form of communication. Advertising is impersonal and but even then it remains an impersonal form of communication. It is always a paid form of communication. So advertising is different from public relations. The brand or the marketing company or the advertiser is paying for this communication, and the typical channels are newspaper, magazines, internet hoardings, bus shelters, TV, radio, etc. Pizza?
No, this one.
Okay. Is this an ad or is this not an ad? Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes. Why is it an ad?
Because it is telling something about the
It's promoting a product, it's telling something about a brand. Which brand is it for? Vim. Where do you think this would have come?
Newspaper.
Newspaper. It could have been a poster, it could have been an in-shop pamphlet. What is it telling? What is the message it's giving? And why does it remove smell? Because what is the new ingredient it has? Pudina. So this at a very basic level is an ad. It is telling you very clearly it's about a brand, Vim. It is assuming that people know what Vim is for. So it is not saying that Vim hai bartan manjne ke liye. Because Vim as a brand has reached that level of awareness where it is assumed that the target audience know what it is for. But if it was a new brand, they would have had to include that messaging also. So it's telling the brand, it's telling the benefit that kare badbu ki chutti, it's telling the reason why. Because it has mint, pudina, and it's got one nice emotive looking, attractive looking image to it. Any of you recognize her? Now who is Kusha Kapila? And what is a social media influencer?
the one who influences the youth to do a certain thing or to use a certain product.
The one who influences a youth to do something, use a certain product. And how will a social media influencer influence intelligent people like us?
By creating posts, videos.
By creating posts, videos. Any of you met her in real life?
No.
Any of you follow her? Any of you know of this guy called Elvish Yadav?
Yes.
Any of you met Elvish in real life?
No.
How many of you follow Elvish? Okay, this is the first class where only one person follows Elvish when everybody else knows him. So I'm assuming there are others who do not raise hands. Okay. Personally, how many of you follow him or know or are aware? Quite a few. So what does a Ranveer Alabadia or an Elvish Yadav or a Kusha Kapila do that all of us know them, though we are not their family members or friends or in the same circles as they are? What are they doing so well? They make relatable content. So an influencer is somebody who is creating relatable content, posts, videos, and because it is so relatable, and that's an important word, you start identifying with what they are saying and you start getting influenced. Now, what she has put up, this is actually her Instagram profile, a screenshot from there. Is this advertising or is this not advertising? What these are? Is it advertising or not advertising? Correct. So, one of the things that at ASCII, which I'll come to later on, is a lot of influencers were actually taking money from brands to create content which did not look like advertising. So they were creating content saying, I use this skincare cream, or I use this hair oil, or I use this car, or I use whatever, and ABCDED benefits happen. But if you've taken money, or even if you've taken any kind of a barter exchange with a brand, it is advertising. And ethical advertising means that you need to tell your target audience who is getting influenced by you that look मैंने ये पैसे लेके किया है, मैं कह रही हूँ MAC Cosmetic अच्छा है, but they have paid me or they've given me a complimentary hamper or they are sponsoring me for a holiday somewhere, but there is some financial benefit I am getting. This is not a genuine, original, organic content, which she does. So in fact, Kusha Kapila is considered very respected in the field of influencers because if it is her organic content, it is organic. She does not mention brands. Wherever she is actually pushing for a brand or creating content for a brand, she will actually say Kusha Kapila and MAC Cosmetics. Now the guidelines are even stricter. So you have to put a hashtag paid collab. You have to put a hashtag saying paid collaboration. Okay. So the point is, when you see content, try and be, especially on social media, try and be a little mindful. Is this organic content? Organic content is influencers' own genuine content. Or advertising in a social media. Why do companies and brands advertise? Any point apart from these? It's to create awareness, make sure people remember you during the purchase occasion, generate interest, give information about your benefits, and build a connect with consumers. Any brand that has a connect with consumers? Any brand you can think of? Any brand that you can think of?
Lead was found in it.
Lead was found in it. Anything else?
Oil was present in the masala.
Okay. Anything else? Broadly this, all of you are aware?
Yes.
Why are you still eating Maggi? Why are you still eating Maggi? If you know that there was lead in it, right or wrong, different point, but assuming that you know there is lead in it and there was monosodium glutamate in it and it is unhealthy, why are you eating Maggi still?
उससे इतना कनेक्टेड रहता है, डिस्पाइट नोइंग द फैक्ट कि ये अनहेल्दी है, पीपल टेंड टू ईट इट टू रिक्रिएट दैट सेंस ऑफ नॉस्टैल्जिया.
Any very good answer, thank you. Any other point? Any other point?
Also, the taste is unbeatable in the market, even if the other products do exist, but they cannot beat Maggi.
Perfect. Yes, anything else?
Ma'am, the brand again gained the trust of the people so that the people can again start eating it.
How did it gain the trust of people?
मैम जैसे उसमें एज यू सेड कि लेड आया था तो पीपल वर स्टार्टेड एक्टिंग कि मैगी इज़ नॉट लाइक हेल्दी और बहुत सारे पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज़ बन गए थे, बट मैगी ने अगेन एडवर्टाइज हुआ और बहुत कुछ हुआ कि उसके बाद मैगी अगेन पीपल अगेन स्टार्टेड ईटिंग मैगी.
The PR team also worked.
ये गलत नहीं होते, they were also creative which
Maggi गलत नहीं होते. How many of you wash clothes खुद से ऐसे ऐसे करके? वॉशिंग मशीन में नहीं, ऐसे ऐसे रगड़ रगड़ के. 10% of the class. दाग अच्छे, कौन सा ब्रांड है? That is the power of advertising. Advertising helps you build an emotional connect. So when your brand like Maggi had some setback, right, wrong, we don't go into that. That's a totally separate topic. Advertising has built, give the brand and accept it once more in your life. That is the power of advertising. The other power of advertising, creating brand awareness. Not everybody here is sitting and washing clothes, but everybody knows Daag Achhe is Surf Excel. And all the other taglines that were used in the beginning. So, we all know why advertising is needed, right? Help me answer this question. So, does society influence ads or ads influence society?
Both.
How? How? Someone from this side. Because then we'll come to one part of advertising which is not there on the previous slide. So,
About norms which are prevalent in the society.
like,
For example, there was an ad which featured Siddharth Malhotra and an actress where they said that both men and women can also do house chores. So they thought of bringing up this idea so as to break that norm.
society has a demand and need.
name any ad that you remember recently, any ad, any brand, any ad.
अंदर होली के फेस्टिवल पे एक मुस्लिम को जाना होता है मॉस्क्यू में नमाज पढ़ने, तो वो एक सोशल मैसेज देता है कि यूनिटी वाला।
So that is an example of
Ad
society influencing ads.
सोसाइटी इज इन्फ्लुएंसिंग दी एड कि हमें डिमांड है यूनिटी की, सो एड उसको बना रहा है वैसे।
मैम जैसे लोगों की इनसिक्योरिटीज होती है कि डार्कर सब्जी और इन सब की एड्स आई थी।
Yes, that is society influencing ads. Very simple. Can you see this? This where I'm pointing? Food in those. They are not showing crockery. They are not showing bone china. Average Indian household, the average family eats food in steel plates. So what you see in an ad, these small things is आदमी है, जो लेडी है, उनका अटायर कैसा होगा, घर कैसा होगा, what kind of food will be shown on the dining table, what kind of walls will be there, because it has to reflect. Somebody mentioned advertising is to connect with target audience. So your advertising has to look like what your target audience will relate to. So society always influences ads because ads are a mirror of society. Having said that, the second part, do ads influence society? Your example, the surf ad. You want to explain what happened in that ad loudly for everybody?
The ad talks about unity among a Hindu child and a Muslim child where he helps.
Color him. So it's also talking of not creating artificial religious divides among small kids, because all kids like to play with color. So it also talks of both. You were mentioning something about Siddharth Malhotra and some actress ad.
Yeah, so the ad aimed at promoting inclusivity and
It tells a story. It shows a promise. So it has the power to start a conversation for something which possibly can change in the mainstream in a while later. Is this the? There were two. And saying, for example, why should laundry only be a woman's job? And so when you get into the field of advertising, always remember there is a huge responsibility on you. You are not just selling a brand. You are doing that, which is important. But through the way you are communicating, you have the power to influence minds and thoughts and behaviors. And that is a power that an advertising professional or a storyteller has. Or it is a paid partnership, or it is content for a brand. You are reaching out to thousands and lakhs of people. So whatever you are putting out has to be said with a lot of responsibility. Which is where ASCI, the organization that I am representing here, comes in. ASCI is the Advertising Standards Council of India. It is a self-governing body whose main focus is to make sure that when advertisements are put out, they cannot, for example, you cannot say drink this water and you will get 100 out of 100 in your next exam. I cannot say that, that is a lie. But if I say that, there may be some children who are desperate enough who will think drinking this water will make me Einstein overnight, right? You cannot fool consumers, you cannot give harmful messages, negative messages, messages that perpetuate stereotypes. And this is a self-regulation that the industry, the corporate India has adopted to say we want to be responsible advertisers. Why is it important to be responsible advertiser? Is because if you say something wrong, your brand can suffer, your consumer can suffer, and the government can come behind you. So for everybody, the regulatory environment, the consumers and the brand and the company itself, it is good to follow a certain norm which lays down what is allowed, what is not allowed. Any doubts on this? Okay, like I said, it's a self-regulatory body and we work at two levels. If any of you, for example, see an ad which you think can be harmful, It's an ad which is showing a 10-year-old boy smoking, which is not allowed in the country. You can complain to ASCII. You can go to ASCIIonline.com. There is a file complaint tab there. You can give your complaint. It is anonymous. As in, you have to fill in your details, but the company against whom you've complained does not get to know that you have filed a complaint. They don't get your details. You can complain to ASCII. ASCII has a committee that will look into the matter. ASCII also does a lot of own monitoring, especially for social media, because in social media there is so much content which does not even call itself as an ad, but in actually reality it is an ad. But they are not putting advertising, they are not putting paid promotion hashtags there. So ASCII does a lot of own monitoring to make sure that misleading and harmful content is not going to the public. The other part of ASCII is बेचना है, Cadbury बेचना है, ये बेचना है, वो बेचना है, तो वो ad बनाओ जिससे बिके. But in that process of making ad, how you are telling the story, you are actually in a very, very powerful position because you are influencing minds. So advertisers are the first level influencers. Social media influencers, the Kusha Kapila and Elvish Yadav came much later. First influencers in any ecosystem were the advertisers. So that's where we do the training and education and advice research. 8,000 multiplied by 100? 8 lakhs. 8 lakh people have got a wrong, harmful message which can harm them, which can harm their family, which can harm their society. And I am taking a very small number, saying 8,000 ads and each ad has only gone to 100 people. It actually runs into millions. And that is the potential of harm, the level of harm that a misleading ad can do. Most of them were in the healthcare segment. Even more worrying. ये दवाई लो, diabetes reverse करो. Social media is full of this. Have this pill for 5 days, मोटापा कम करो. And people end up with severe health problems because everybody is wanting a shortcut to lose weight. Nobody wants to exercise. And when you see an ad like this which says fla research say ये product आया है 10 दिन में सुबह लीजिए and weight 10 किलो कम करिए. You go for it without realizing it's causing significant harm to your body. So health levels, perceptions, but there is a general view that society accepts. And this talks of that. Stick within that general view. The third is don't show harmful products and situations. So you don't show a 10-year-old boy drinking Gatorade or anything and jumping off of this bridge. Corona नहीं होगा. Again same logic. किसको अगर आप धोगे तो virus निकल जाएगा. So this is dishonest representation because the thought here is कि consumer is not so evolved to understand जो आप imply कर रहे हो. They will take this at face value. So you cannot do that. I will show you this.
क्या ये Cars 24 का सबसे important और unbelievable features है?
So this complaint was sent by somebody who felt it is offensive precisely for that reason कि husband कोई चीज थोड़ी ना है कि it is being offensive and demeaning to men and to husbands. So the committee met and the committee found as a group कि yes this is offensive. Same चीज reverse होती offensive माना जाता. So we are not promoting discrimination. So it is offensive. The company was asked to either change the ad or pull down the ad or delete that line. Yeah. He has harmful situations or products. See एडवेंचर किस चीज पे हो रहा है? बाइक पे. कौन चला रहा है? सब प्रोफेशनल, सब मेल, सब बाइकर. कैसे चला रहा है? Under supervision. So yes, it's written on the disclaimer. But what kind of conditions are they showing him driving? How many of you can read it? Can somebody read and tell me? Stunts performed by trained professional riders and actors under expert supervision on closed roads in controlled environment. Please do not imitate. Product shown is for illustration. Actual colors, accessories may vary. What language is this in? If they want to announce PV Sidhu as brand ambassador and that's her hometown, they would have evaluated multiple options. TV ad kare, print ad kare, social media kare, ye kare, wo kare. And they must have realized that doing this for a short period of time in Hyderabad will give them the maximum benefit. So in advertising, you are always making choices because you will have limited money. आप ये कर सकते हो या ये कर सकते हो या ये कर सकते हो. You will have limited money, right? So they must have thought that this is the most effective way to do it. Maybe it got amplified by PR there. Yes, it is part of advertising, very much so. The task there would have been to create awareness of the association, which they achieved.
What are your personal challenges that you face in that industry of ads?
Challenges? Biggest is that your society is changing, right? So your code, what I showed, also needs to keep pace. For example, till about 7 years back, ASCII did not have a code for influencers because there was no industry of influencers. But now we started seeing that so many pieces of content on social media are actually ads. But they were not following these guidelines because the influencers were saying, ये तो content है, ad नहीं है. So one challenge is come up with an influencer guideline. Get all the stakeholders to agree to it. Another challenge is we have seen that in advertising now there is a tendency. In e-commerce there is a tendency for dark patterns. So you go on to an e-commerce website. Often you will say sale lasting last 2 hours, special price for next 30 minutes. It is creating a false sense of urgency. Flash sales. Then it will say 10,889 people have already bought this product. What are you doing? Fear of missing out. It's playing with your psychology. So this again was not there 10 years back because 10 years back the only e-commerce here was Amazon, which does not do this. Amazon and Flipkart don't do this. So again, to come up with studies where we work with a lot of industry experts to come up with studies to identify what are these dark patterns. And then we create awareness to consumers saying that don't fall prey to this because ये FOMO create कर रहा है, sense of urgency कर रहा है, or deceptive pricing. Only 199. But when you are checking out for 199, it is charging delivery charge of 150, right? And a convenience fee of 20 rupees. So it's not actually 199. This is misleading pricing. So now guidelines have come for that, which right now we are working with e-commerce players to make sure they don't do this. Because ASCII's aim is basically safeguard consumers. So you have to keep pace with what is happening, the change they are happening. Copy, basic course. So yes, it is there. At the junior level it is being used a lot. Where it is not being used right now is when you are creating what we call thematic advertising. When a brand wants to come up with a strong consumer insight, a strong communication hook, so far generative AI has not been able to reach there. But for simple ads, like that Vim wala what I showed in the beginning, you give it.
My last question, what advice do you have for journalism, mass communication, entering in advertisement?
So I don't really have any advice, so to say, because everybody's career is different. But if this is a field you want to, then be a player for long term. And to be a long term player, you can't take shortcuts. See, I think room में बैठकर, net के सामने बैठकर, you can't be a great journalist. You have to be out in the field. Or if you are doing mass comm, or if you are getting into career in advertising, you have to be out where your consumer is. That's where your grounding happens. That's where when your stories come out, they will be authentic, that people will relate. So I would say if you are considering this field, think of it from a long-term point of view and stay true to whatever your area of passion is. Even here there are specializations. There is, okay, thank you so much.
From creativity to ethics.
As a token of respect and gratitude, we would like to present a sapling and memento to Ms. Hingu. Just like how great ideas grow into impactful campaigns, may this sapling be a symbol of knowledge you have shared with us today. We invite our head of the department, Dr. Umesh Chandra Pathak, to do the honors.
That we express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who's made this event possible and our remarkable guest speaker. To do the honors, I now invite our esteemed head of the department, Dr. Umesh Chandra Pathak, to deliver the vote of thanks and share their closing remarks.
And first of all, sorry for not being here for a few reasons. And we know there are simultaneously so many tasks going on. But I would like to know from your side what sort of your experience regarding this workshop. With your sound or your raising hands will indicate about the success of the workshop. So just tell me about your experience, students. You may clap if it. I think a good product became brand after its quality and features, and delivering a good lecture and conducting this workshop. Ms. Aditi Hingu has just shown her knowledge and experience shared with you, and your experience and your learning output definitely going to be beneficial in future endeavors for all of you. Thank you, ma'am, for being here with us. And lastly, when I joined, you were just saying what sort of enthusiasm and your likes and dislikes matters a lot while choosing a career. So, believe me, if you are really hard working, then whatever you have dreamed you can achieve easily. But don't be another part hardly working. So, I would like to just summarize within 2 couplets of Urdu Hindi. I usually do the same. खुद डूबना होता है समंदर में जाकर, खुद डूबना होता है समंदर में जाकर, साहिल पे समंदर के खजाने नहीं आते। और साहिल पे समंदर के खजाने नहीं आते, ये जागती आंखें बहुत कुछ बोल रही हैं, आंखों को अभी ख्वाब छुपाने नहीं आते। Whatever exposure we can provide, we are doing the same, our best for all of you. इन नन्हे परिंदों को उड़ने दो यूं ही, फिर लौट कर बचपन के ज़माने में। Thank you all the students for attending the workshop, and just ma'am was replying one of you about the AI. Someone asked about the AI and advertisement. On Friday 21st, we are having another workshop on AI in media. So be there to participate and learn a lot about the recent trend, artificial intelligence. Thank you. Thank you very much.
A big thank you to our speaker, our HOD, our conveners, and everyone here. Let's take these insights forward and make advertising not just effective but truly responsible.
And that's a wrap. Today was all about creativity. And we would like to have you up front so we can click a photo.
सर यहाँ से फोटोग्राफ बच्चों के साथ ले लेते हैं, then faculty members की हो जाए.
आवाज नहीं पहुंच पा रही।